Honest J. Nowak. Oh yeah. A pleasure to meet you at last, and welcome back to Honest J. Nowak. So what I've got right now is that I'm going to actually talk about greenhouse effect. And the greenhouse effect, of course, has actually been a standalone topic about how it could sometimes ruin our environment tenfold. And because the greenhouse effect can actually be known to really level up heat in some cities across the world itself. The globe itself does have a ton of very densely populated cities out there that can actually extract a lot of heat from the sun's photon rays. And mainly glass structures out there are known to trap some heat because the rays can simply pass right through the glass in the buildings, but yet the buildings themselves would not get damaged by the sun's photon rays, yet the heat would still be present within these buildings because of the presence of glass. But other materials out there like bricks, they can actually reflect certain sunlight and try to keep the temperature as level as possible within the interior of the building itself. Of course, ventilation systems would also come into effect based on the construction of certain architecture, but at some point in life we should have to consider that at some point glass might need to be abolished. Because we're simply trying to ruin ourselves with the fact that at some point the greenhouse effects will actually come back to bite us. Very severely too. Because of course the greenhouse effects can actually allow heat waves to come across more often. Simply because of how the more glass absorbs heat, the more likely we are to have heat waves across every city in the world. And I do feel that at one point we might just end up having something like that occur. So that is actually why nowadays we are trying to do everything we can to see how we can actually eliminate certain parts of a building that can actually contract heat instead of reflect it. But nowadays there have been other ways that heat attraction has also come into play, including the presence of wearing dark and heavy clothing, and the fact that at some point there's certain other materials out there like metals. Metalloids can also be possible and responsible for absorbing more heat along with glass. Metal and glass, of course, they are really big heat absorbers and contractors in comparison to other materials out there like plastics and bricks. But I honestly should feel more considerable about how the greenhouse effects, aside from how heat waves can really be present, is that at one point the environment itself is also a pretty big topic itself. So I really try to see how much I can talk about it, but I really don't have as much time just to play the whole thing out. So I guess for right now, we'll probably just leave the greenhouse effect to others out there who would want to try to eliminate those certain aspects about how at some point heat waves can end up being caused by the certain greenhouse effect that comes around when photonic rays end up getting trapped within buildings surrounded by metal or glass. Mainly metal and glass. Because those are two really big important materials out there that we need to keep the structures as level as possible to prevent them collapsing under its own weight. So I guess that's all I've got to talk about at this point about the greenhouse effect itself, but I might have to go on even more about the environment later on. So if you want to see more go down on my channel, make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media, and stay on the Hollywood side.